ocean low, reach the stars and we shall know.
Well met, Alice, dear friend. Since your husband's death, I have oft thought of you. Fare you well?
Oh, Foreman, I am sorry for not coming to see you sooner, for I was grateful for your warning about Blag's illness. It gave me the sense to bide with him in his final hours. It was only then that I did realise how much I did love the old fool, despite his mump-headed nature and his leaving me and the children with not a penny between us. But the day after he passed, I came upon a note he had writ for me. I warrant that was your idea, was it, Foreman?
It may have been.
Then I thank ye for it, Simon. For 'twas a comfort to be left something to remember him by, even if it be the only thing he did leave me. But things are better since I did become Mistress Maysay.
Then you have remarried?
Aye. 'Twas the only means of putting a roof over our heads and meat in our bellies. And Mr. Maysay is a kind man. Oh, but Foreman, we may not have our roof much longer. Maysay has threatened to leave me.
The brute!
Well, to be fair, I suppose I did fail to apprise him of the full extent of Blag's debts, which are, as you know, not inconsiderable. But what am I to do about it now?
Ah, yes, of course. By marrying you, he is now responsible for the debts of your late husband, according to the law. In sooth, 'tis a high price to pay for a wife. No matter the marital bliss her bountiful charms and fine qualities do doubtless afford him.
Ah, save it for another day, Foreman. 'Tis not your chub-brained flattery I am come for. 'Tis your counsel.
Then let us see if the stars may offer a solution. How may Alice Maysay prevent her husband petitioning for a divorce? Alas, you have little hope of calming your new husband's feelings about your late husband's debts. But the stars suggest that your family might go abroad, and thus put yourself out of the reach of Blag's creditors. You must do this without delay.
Go abroad? You mean where foreigners live?
Aye. My chart also suggests that you find some creative solution to ensure your husband's cooperation in such a project. Has he ever expressed an interest in the New World colonies? Or perchance you might suggest an extended tour of Roman antiquities.
Nay, but I will put my mind to it. But if we do go abroad, this is doubtless the last time I shall ever see you, Foreman.
Hear ye! Nation mourns death of beloved Queen. King James of Scotland ticked to succeed to the English throne. Hear ye!
Humphrey Bell, you must not take so ill, for though your beauty does fade, we do adore you still. Our eyes are so wide, our thoughts so unrefined, at the sight of your shapely behind.
Good day, Mr. Bell. Oh, I must congratulate you on your performance of the comely lady lawyer in The Merchant of Venice, and methinks your skin is much improved. 'Tis verily glowing.
Innit? My skin ain't recovered, though. 'Tis only glowing on account of this powder made from ground-up pearls I started using.
I see. Forsooth, 'tis well to hear the troubles with your skin are resolved. Now, what is it you come for this day?
Mr. Shakespeare has written a new play, and I need to look younger if I'm to get a good part in it. 'Tis about an ancient Roman general called Titus Andronicus. I wish to play the role of his comely mother, the Lady Tamara.
You need to look younger in order to play a man's mother, you say. But according to my casebook, why, sir, you are not yet 25 years of age.
Aye, sir, indeed. 'Tis but the business of playing, though, innit? At least, according to Mr. Burbage, he was well vexed when I pointed out how the man played Titus is near as old as I am.
If the stage is not to your liking, Mr. Bell, I invite you to seek employment elsewhere.
All right, then. Let us see what the stars advise. What can be done to make my querent Humphrey Bell appear younger? What you ask is quite impossible, Mr. Bell. You wish for time to pass, so that you may gain experience and become a better player, do you not? And yet, paradoxically, you ask that time be suspended, so that you may remain young and comely enough to play these roles you have spent years training for. To wit, you aspire to be a domina perfectus.
What?
A perfect woman, sir. But have you not considered the option available to you? That of being a homo mediocris?
A what now?
A mediocre man. In the guise of a mediocre man, you would doubtless excel. Indeed, for every lady role in Mr. Shakespeare's plays, are there not roles for 20 men? And to be sure, growing older would not shorten your career. For a man can play all kinds of roles at almost any age. Hero, lover, grandfather, oft all at the same time.
But how am I to convince Mr. Shakespeare and the other shearers to start giving me man parts?
Have the company begin seeing you as a man, Mr. Bell. Grow yourself a beard and break wind with abandon. Fill the hours you save on beauty treatments by joining your fellow players on outings to bear-baiting pits and alehouses.
I will not let you down, Dr. Foreman. I will make myself so manly, Mr. Shakespeare will be begging me to take his man parts.
All his energy for dinners and parties, that never run. Say, can you conceive of what could be achieved if we were so desperate for a man?
Good morrow, Mistress Fortescue. How may I do you serve?
Oh, Dr. Foreman, I have urgent need of your advice. Oh, woe! I know not what I am to do.
On my word, madam, I have never before seen you in such a state. Pray tell, whatever can the matter be?
'Tis my husband, Captain Fortescue. God mend me! He has been implicated in a conspiracy to commit treason.
Ah, yes, your husband, Captain Henry Fortescue. He is a great friend of Sir Walter Raleigh, is he not? Oh, methinks I see your problem. For Raleigh has been implicated in a plot against our new king, has he not? 'Tis said the plotters wished to oust the king and install the king's cousin on the throne. Or was Raleigh involved in that other plot? The one to kidnap the king and force him to appoint a more religiously tolerant privy council. In truth, there are so many plots against the English throne these days, 'tis hard to keep abreast of them all.
Indeed, I know not which plot Sir Walter was arrested for, but I have heard tell that the Privy Council seeks to find conspirators amongst his associates. Hence I have been hiding my husband in our cellar and pretending he's still away at sea.
But why would your husband fear arrest? Was he involved in Sir Walter Raleigh's plot?
Nay, he was not. But all London believes that he and Sir Walter are very great friends.
Ah, yes, I see. But what of your own friends, Mistress Fortescue? All those lords, ladies, and bishops who have so oft graced your table, would they not speak in your husband's defence?
Well, dear Emma says she will speak for my husband, but alas, she now has little influence at court on account of some scandals of her own. As for my other acquaintances, they have all disowned me. They decline my invitations, and no one is at home to me when I call upon them. Even Sir Munchelot has stopped speaking to me.
Even your parrot, madam? On my word, that is very cold.
I beseech you, sir, read the stars and tell me how I might save my husband from arrest. Pray assure me he will be safe.
Let us see, then. Is Captain Henry Fortescue in danger of being arrested for treason? If so, what might Mistress Fortescue do to prevent it? Be not so afeard, madam, for the stars show cause for optimism. Whilst your family's situation is grave at present, it will not remain so for long.
Oh, my days, Dr. Foreman! You cannot imagine how well it is to hear your words.
Indeed, given enough time, this plot against the king will be remembered as but a trifling affair. Even King James himself will soon be jesting of it. He will remark, "Remember you the time Sir Walter Raleigh and his friends tried to snatch away my crown and give it to my cousin? Such japes!"
Dr. Foreman, I do not think that can be right.
I assure you it is, madam, for the king will soon be engaging England in a bloody foreign war so all-consuming that mere domestic political machinations will seem trifling in comparison.
On my honour, I truly do wish I could believe what you say, but 'tis well known that King James favours peace and does not intend to engage England in more wars.
Ah, verily?
Yes, verily. Such matters of state have oft been discussed at my table. I must own, Dr. Foreman, that your false assurances do give me no comfort. No comfort at all, Dr. Foreman. Methinks I shall to Whitehall go and throw myself upon the mercy of the king.
Humphrey Bell, your time upon the stage grows near to its end as you advance in age. But hold, no tears, come down, resign your fears, you're just too old to earn a living wage.
Good day to you, young sir. May I say, your playing of Titus Andronicus's comely mother was excellent. Well, a wondrous performance, Mr. Bell.
Aye, well, I did ask for a man's part, like he told me, but Bossman just winked at me and said he'd consider it, but only if I convince Mistress Burbage I'm a man first.
Forsooth, how strange. I wonder what he meant by that.
I know what he means though, innit? Mistress Burbage wants to move to me and Mr. Burbage knows all about it.
On my word! But surely, Mr. Bell, if Mistress Burbage's attentions occasion you discomfort, you have merely to tell her so. Make it plain you wish your relationship to remain professional, and bid her abstain from any amorous advances.
You what? Nay, sir. If I hear her, she'll be vexed and I could lose my job. Know you what I mean?
Ah, I see, yes. If she were to take umbrage, she might use her influence over her husband to prevent you from getting work. Well, I do have a recipe for a very effective aphrodisiac. Nay? Then let us see what the stars advise. How might Humphrey Bell calm the ardour of Mistress Burbage without it costing him his career? It would seem Mistress Burbage's behaviour can be attributed to her excessive sanguinity. To wit, there is an imbalance of blood in her body. It compels her towards an indulgence in lustful passions.
What you mean, like? She's ill or something? Her grabbing me backstage and trying to beg me, 'tis an imbalance of blood making her do all that. So, how do I help her fix her problem then?
Her problem? Oh, nay, Mistress Burbage is not ill. Forsooth, indulging in her lustful passions is a most healthsome pursuit, which doubtless brings her much pleasure. Indeed, the only person who has a problem with her lustful activities is you.
You what?
Perchance you could find a means of adding cooling and drying foods to the lady's diet to counteract the fiery moistness of her sanguinity. I suggest myrtle berries, lettuce, and mallows.
Methinks I can add them plants to the morning potage she takes during rehearsal, and if that don't make her move from me, I might start adding poison in it.
Hear ye, hear ye! Raleigh's ally, Henry Fortescue, arrested for treason! Hear ye!
Lancelot Moore is doubtless a fool, yet men of his class are destined to rule. They tell us 'tis but the order of things, as is the divine right of kings.
Good even, Mr. Moore. How may I do you service?
I have a mind to take up a profession and would have your counsel on it. For I must say, your advice thus far has been most excellent. Counselling me not to marry that sly succubus Emma Dyer did veritably save my life. Indeed, I have heard it rumoured that her husbands have a lamentable habit of dying, if you follow my meaning. In short, their deaths are most unnatural and not at all accidental. Do you understand what I'm telling you, Foreman?
Aye, I do, Mr. Moore. Pray afford me a moment to recover from the excess of shock and surprise I do feel upon being told of the lady's true nature. Now, you say you wish to take up a profession. 'Tis a military career you're considering, I presume? You wish to distinguish yourself in battle?
Nay, 'tis a career in the church. I have a mind to take holy orders.
You wish to become a clergyman? Pray tell, how came you by this notion?
'Twas given me by the top dog himself, the Archbishop of Canterbury. He's a hunting chum of my father's. Aye, the Archbishop is a crackshot with a musket. You should see him at it, Foreman. Give the man half an hour and a pouch of lead shot, and he'll turn your duck pond into duck soup. It seems the Archbishop has had his eye on me for quite some time.
Verily, indeed.
He says I show great promise, and that under his personal tutelage I should rise very rapidly. He even said he has a mind to make me Bishop of Salisbury.
Ah, yes, the much-coveted bishopric of Salisbury.
But before I make my final decision, Foreman, I thought I'd better come to you first.
Aye, very wise of you. Then let us see what the stars foretell. Would my querent, Lancelot Moore, enjoy success as a clergyman? You should indeed take holy orders, Mr. Moore, for the stars do indicate that life as a clergyman would transform you. It would turn your mind away from vice and idle pursuits.
I see.
So, there is your answer.
Ah, yea. But do the stars give any additional reasons as to why I might pursue a career in the church? Aside from the fact of it being godly and such.
Well, my chart does also suggest that doing so would enhance your eligibility as a suitor, for taking orders would serve as a signal of your wisdom and virtue.
Oh, verily?
Aye, it says here that if you become a clergyman, yes, that God will reward you with ladies.
God's underlumps! And to think all the hours I've wasted learning to play the lute for such a purpose. I thank you, Foreman, for you have helped me find my true calling. I shall take holy orders and begin dispensing wise counsel and spiritual guidance to all the ladies of London.
Here comes crafty Anne. What does she ask for now? Many times our wages needless to say. Despite her sins, may she be saved. The rest of what God gave. Here comes crafty Anne. What does she ask for now?
God give you good day, madam.
Good day to you, sir, and well met.
And how fares your husband, Lady Dyer? I recall you were worried for his health.
'Twas the diabetes, the disease you judged him as having. He died from wounds that never healed.
You mean the wound on his lordship's hand? But I recall you saying it was quite small.
Oh, yes, that wound was, but he acquired many more. One evening, whilst we were summering at our country estate, the stone railing of our balcony gave way, and he fell into some particularly thorny rose bushes.
Verily? How distressing. And he never recovered from the scratches?
Nay, 'twas most tragical and so forth.
Well, I am sorry to hear of your husband's passing, but, madam, are you quite well? You do not seem yourself this day, if I may remark on it.
Dr. Foreman, I am more myself than you have ever seen me, for during these past years I have been playing a role that has served me well, to be sure, but I am grown tired of it. Indeed, I am not proud of my dissembling. I'm not proud of some other things besides.
And doubtless you are come to unburden yourself by confessing your, what those things are.
What? Nay, of course not. As I was saying, whilst my dissimulations have afforded me wealth and status, such a life as I have lived has not fulfilled me. For though I have been married many times and known many men, I have always lacked one important thing.
A moral compass?
And that thing is love. In short, I have found love, Dr. Foreman, and the object of my affection is not one of these privileged popinjays I've met at the royal court. Nay, 'tis a real man, a man who knows what it is to make his own way in the world.
Oh, you mean to say, you mean you and I?
Verily, upon seeing him play Tamara in Titus Andronicus at the Globe one even, my heart was took.
I see. You are in love with a player then, I take it.
Aye, and I wish to marry him. But first, I would know whether such a match be advisable. Is our love true, or is my considerable coin and property where his true affections lie? Such a deception would not surprise me in truth.
Well, nay, doubtless it would not. Let us see whether the stars can tell us. The stars bless the match between you and the young man.
They do not think it would be bad for him in some way. They do not judge.
The chart indicates that your relationship with this young man has changed you. It would be a faithful, lasting marriage.
Verily? I must own I dared not expect such a happy ending to my story. I thank ye heartily, Dr. Foreman.
Humphrey Bell, our thoughts we must disclose. Though your acting is fine, you were to many clothes. 'Tis hot, revive, not sit down, recline upon this couch and take a little wine.
Good day, Mr. Bell. I see here in my notes the last time you came to us for counsel regarding Mistress Burbage and her tender advances.
Aye, and the advice you gave me to cool her down and that worked her treat. Since I've been putting them herbs in her potage, she spends so much time in the privy, I hardly ever see her now.
That is... Well, I am glad my advice achieved the desired outcome and Mistress Burbage is no longer bothering you.
'Tis about another lady I'm come this day. 'Tis a member of the audience who comes to all my performances and brings me flowers and sweetmeats. A mature lady, a widow, innit?
Another one? On my word, you are most ill-fortuned, Mr. Bell. Verily, are no young players safe these days from being preyed upon by lecherous old ladies?
'Tis not all ladies, Dr. Foreman. Not this one, anyways. Emma ain't like any of the other ladies I've met. In truth, Dr. Foreman, we wish to be wed. I love her, innit?
Then what is your trouble?
Well, I've heard tell of some vexing things. There are them that say she has a heart of stone and only marries to get her hands on a man's money, though I have none, and she be rich. But she has been widowed many times, and there's even a rumour saying she's had a hand in her husband's deaths.
Oh, verily? How shocking.
I must own to being a trifle shook by it, and maybe a bit excited as well, but mainly shook, innit?
Doubtless you are, for 'tis most frightening if there be any truth to these rumours. We must consult the stars and see whether it be wise for you to marry. Should Humphrey Bell wed this wealthy widow, and what will become of him if he does? Mr. Bell, it has been my privilege to guide you over the years in matters of work and in life. Wisely, I hope, but certainly with the greatest sense of care for your well-being. Indeed, I have come to think of you as a father might think of a son. 'Tis a responsibility I have not taken lightly, and in loco parentis, as it were, I feel an obligation to...
Sir, begging your pardon, sir, but I'm going to stop you right there, because I need to know, innit? Should I marry Emma or not?
Yes. I believe you may safely marry this lady, Mr. Bell. The stars suggest the rumours you did hear about her are needlessly cruel.
So this all lies, then?
Well, not quite all lies, nay. The stars do also indicate that the lady was formerly most fixated upon the acquisition of money, though 'twould seem she no longer harbours such pecuniary passions, such as is consistent with her desire to marry a penniless player such as yourself.
Sir, it is decided. I shall marry my dear, sweet Emma. I'd be honoured if you came to see us wed, Dr. Foreman, if you be not too busy in that.
The honour shall be all mine, young Humphrey.
Mary oft takes her young niece to the cockfighting pits. She prefers a hanging, though she readily admits, viewed after drinking turnip wine until she's off her
Good morrow, Mistress Payne. It has been quite some time since I last saw you. Did you ever hear from the Archbishop? I recall your husband was intending to write to him, expressing your concerns about the Continentals.
Aye, we did write, but he never replied. Not that I am surprised, mind you, as they do say that Archbishop Whitgift is a very idle man, not to speak of the unsavoury goings-on within the walls of Lambeth Palace. They say that in the great dining hall the Archbishop and his guests do feast and carouse from dusk till dawn, and 'tis said that in some of the palace rooms they indulge in fornication and sodomitical sins.
Verily, indeed. Then, doubtless that leaves him very little time to reply to every...
Truly, methinks being surrounded by such decadence and corruption of the flesh is likely to have made the Archbishop very hard. Aye, bearing witness to so much vice would make a man very hard indeed. Hard, Dr. Foreman? Insensible to the needs and difficulties of ordinary folk such as you and I. Verily, I do not wonder that such a hard man gave me no satisfaction. Which is why I am come to you this day, Dr. Foreman. Something did trouble me last night, and I would have you tell me what it might have been.
I will if I can, madam. Prithee, describe it to me.
Well, at first was the noise of a boat that did awaken me. I got up out of bed and went to the window to see what was. As you know, on 4th Street we are right by the banks of the Thames. In the moonlight, I could just make out a ferry crossing the river, loaded up with large barrels.
And you thought it suspicious?
Aye, indeed, for the hour was very late and the boat's lamp was not lit. I did not wake Mr. Payne to ask his opinion, for, in truth, he has told me he wishes to hear no more about the things I see from our window. So, I am come to you, for I can have no rest until I know who those men were and what they were doing. Who knows what foul deeds may be afoot in Lambeth Town? Mayhap the men I saw were Catholic spies, engaging in some manner of nefarious plot against the realm.
Then let us see. What does God have to say regarding this boat you saw crossing the Thames last night? Was it some kind of elaborate Catholic plot, or is there a more likely explanation? Madam, we must approach this in a calm, reasonable manner. If a grand plot against the realm were afoot, is it likely that it would be taking place at the end of your street? How now, Mistress Payne? There is surely a perfectly innocent explanation for a boat with a broken lamp crossing a river at night.
Then the stars say 'twas no Catholic plotters at work.
Mistress Payne, I must wonder whether there be a reason for your grand imaginings of Catholics around every corner plotting against the English realm. Might this fixation be occasioned by painful affairs close to home that you would rather not think on? For instance, mayhap you have a son who has lately not writ you a letter. I do assure you, loneliness at your time of life is quite normal. Many women in your situation do oft call upon their doctors when they feel...
Hold, sir. I am a very busy woman, and I take my responsibility to my community most seriously. I have not the time for, nor do I appreciate your idle speculations regarding my domestic affairs. Mark me, Dr. Foreman, if it verily was a band of Catholic conspirators I saw last night, 'twill not be the last we hear of them.
Hear ye, hear ye! Catholic terror plot to blow up Parliament foiled. Gunpowder barrels discovered in cellar. Hear ye!
'Tis well to jest at Mary Payne, 'tis well to sneer and mock, until her views become the norm, then 'twill be quite a shock. But for now let's laugh at her and how her niece laughs. How her niece laughs, la 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 la.
Good day, Mistress Payne. You seem in good cheer.
That I am, Dr. Foreman. This day I am taking my niece on a lovely outing to see the cockfighting in Vauxhall.
Ah, there is a cockpit in Vauxhall now, is there?
Aye, and a very fine one. And I did think we need a nice day out to turn our minds away from that terrible affair of the Catholics plotting to blow up the Houses of Parliament. And my niece does so love the cocks.
Doubtless, madam. And the gunpowder plot was indeed a terrible business.
They say it was the doings of a group of young Catholic nobles from the Midlands, do they not? And that the gunpowder was ferried across the Thames at Lambeth under cover of darkness. Doubtless, 'twas the very same boat I did tell you about, Dr. Foreman. And as I recall, 'twas your opinion that what I saw was naught but an idle fancy. On my honour, Dr. Foreman, I warrant you would not be so quick to dismiss my concerns now. Indeed, after this frightening affair with the gunpowder, many folks in Lambeth are paying heed to my warnings about Catholics and Continentals.
Doubtless, madam, but this day your concern should be your health. For I do remark that your eyes are red and irritated in appearance, and you seem troubled with a hacking cough. For how long have you had these troubles?
Only these past few days, and as well as my eyes and my cough, I do also find it a trifle vexing to breathe.
Then let us now consult the stars. What ails Mistress Mary Payne? Madam, your symptoms are occasioned by noxious odours. Most likely you did lately inhale a large volume of smoke. Mayhap your chimney requires cleaning.
Indeed it does not, Dr. Foreman. My cleanliness is unimpeachable. I have my maidservants scour the house from top to bottom every day.
Then I cannot be sure what has occasioned your... Hold. What is that acrid odour? Methinks it does emanate from your clothing. Madam, have you been taking part in the anti-Catholic pogroms that Lambeth has witnessed these past days? The burning of houses and shops, the lynching of priests from trees upon Lambeth Green.
Mayhap I have, and what of it? You should be congratulating me and my ilk for keeping you safe, and for sending a clear message to those Catholics who would plot against our Parliament and blow us up with gunpowder.
Madam, these Catholics are our neighbours, our colleagues, and our friends. I beseech you to consider your actions, madam. Are not Catholics people too, just as we are? If you prick them, do they not bleed?
Aye, and their flesh does burn the same and all. I fear I do not follow your reasoning, Dr. Foreman.
Are they not subject to the same diseases, healed by the same cures as we are? And if not cured, then... Alas, taken so soon, so needlessly. I did never have the chance to... Oh, my sweet Avis, can you ever forgive me?
Is something the matter with you, Dr. Foreman? On my honour, you do seem most troubled. Mayhap you should be going to consult with a doctor yourself. God keep you well, Dr. Foreman. Blessed day.
Hear ye! London struck by plague. Playhouses closed by order of the king. Hear ye!
cutthroat, is vengeance and justice, pestilence and death, hard death, oh Lord, with God, forsooth, is that not your job?
God give you good day, your grace. How fare you this...
Know you whether the plague will reach as far as Lambeth? Have you seen it in the stars?
The plague that has begun to spread throughout London. Rest assured, your grace, if the plague does indeed reach Lambeth, the people of Lambeth will have me, Dr. Simon Foreman, at their service. My renowned strong water cure will doubtless be required.
I bid you, read the stars for me now. Will or will it not reach Lambeth?
Of course, as it pleases your grace. Let us see what the stars have to say. Will the London plague reach beyond the city walls to Lambeth? Yes, the stars are most clear on the matter. Very clear indeed.
Then what do they say? Tell me!
Well, before I give you my answer, I would have your decision on granting me that medical license we spoke of on your previous visits. I am sorry, your grace, but I must insist upon it.
I would gladly do so, but I find my hands tied due to various episcopal and doctrinal... As I see you are determined not to let the matter rest, I will speak true. Some years ago, the Queen's physician, Dr. Richard Smith, did write me a letter on behalf of the College of Physicians. He warned me in the strongest terms against granting you a medical license. So you see, I cannot grant you a license without raising the ire of the College of Physicians.
But...
Now, Dr. Foreman, doubtless you are thinking that a man of my position, one of the most powerful men in England, should not be so easily put off by such a letter. However, and methinks you know this from your own experience, the college is a terrifying organization that will stop at nothing to get their way. One would be better off defying the Queen herself than the licensed doctors of London. For whilst our Lord God in heaven may be merciful, the College of Physicians is not.
Aye, verily, I must own that what you say is very true.
But mayhap I will furnish you with a letter of recommendation to the University of Cambridge. They may confer upon you a medical degree, and thereby a medical license.
I thank you, your grace.
Now, prithee, answer my question.
I have bad news, your grace. Lambeth will not escape the plague this time. Things are quiet now, but as I learned during the plague of '92, events may change apace. You must leave Lambeth before it's too late.
I feared as much. I must begin preparations for the removal of the palace household to Sussex.
Before you go, your grace, I believe you were intending to write me a letter of recommendation.
Well, indeed, I will reflect on the quality of advice you have given me over the years, and if I judge that you have acted with some skill, then I will have my new chaplain, Lancelot Moore, draft you a letter of recommendation and have it sent to you. Good day, Dr. Foreman.
Though he is not quite a proper doctor yet, one day a license he will surely get. But if he rises up too high from whence he began, will become and folk still see Foreman as a man.
You cannot board up my house! 'Tis not a plague house! You are mistaken! I do not have the plague! Let me out of here! Know you not who I am, you fools? I am Simon Foreman, Doctor of Astrology and Physic. Fie upon those ungrateful wretches! Have I not always been there for them when they needed me? Am I not the doctor who risked his life to cure them during the plague of '92, when all the other doctors and their high-born friends fled London and left them to die? Indeed, mayhap next time I will think again before risking my life in the service of the townsfolk, if this is the way I'm to be repaid. And forsooth, if my deeds are so easily forgotten by the living, what chance is there for my work to be remembered by generations to come? What will the world know of me once I'm gone? It seems I am to be remembered for being named in a case against two ladies who quietly killed someone, meaning they poisoned him. How monstrous! If such unsavoury tales are ever to be told, I pray thee do not overshadow my accomplishments. For though I may yet lack a medical license, the historical importance of my work is, well, 'tis undeniable. But if I am to go forth into the world to make any further contributions to the advancement of medical science, I must find a way to pry these wretched boards off my front door. William! William! Fetch me a crowbar!
Long ago in England in 1592, there begins our tale, and all of it is true. Through all of London bubonic plague did spread, covering folk in weeping sores and leaving thousands dead.
From towns and cities, doctors they did flee, leaving their patients to die in misery.
But one brave doctor stayed when all the cowards fled, might have been because he was too sick to leave his bed.
Foreman made a plague cure and used it on himself, then left his house to